I don't even remember when was the last time I streamed. But welcome back. It's been a while. Hope you've all been doing alright these past few weeks or months. It's the start of a new year. Plenty of changes for everyone, I'm sure. And some people like the change, some people don't. Hey. Welcome to my stream, Oliora. I haven't done the role quests, actually. Oh, you're more than welcome to accompany me for a ride. As far as I remember, I think I've only finished... what was it? Was it Eula? Let me take a look. Role quests. Yeah, I've only finished the... Oh wait, no, it wasn't Eula, it was Tank. Yep. Of course it would be Tank. I don't even know why I think it would be anything different. Ah, I see. Oh, if you are still streaming by the time I'm done with this, and I'll send whatever viewers or lack of viewers over to your channel. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Either way, I hope you have fun with your stream, because I'm sure I'll be enjoying whatever story that the Endwalker. Oh well, the role quests. I'm already done with the main story. Up to 6.0 at least. I haven't started on 6.1 yet. Hey, nice. Actually, what server are you playing on? Or rather, which data center or region? Ah, I see. Yeah, I think plenty of my IRL friends are playing on Aegis as well. Unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately, but because I started playing Final Fantasy XIV with my North American friends, I am in the NA region. Alright, well, it has been a very long time, and I do not remember what was I doing in terms of quests. I mean, I have been playing FF for like the last week or so, mostly just grinding levels on my other jobs. So let me just read the journal and see what was I doing. See, arriving in snow-swept Ishgard, you are warmly welcomed by both Artorial and Emmerich. Brief you on the situation with the Blossomy. Dubbed Profane Fafnir, the beast was apparently born from a young man seen stumbling through the hopland in a state of distress. Though the creature soon fled, it has since been seen in the skies above Ishgard on a regular basis. The mere sight of it has caused others to turn as well. While the identity of the first victim is unknown, it has been determined that all who subsequently transformed were people of fervent faith, such as priests and inquisitors. In order to better understand the situation, Artorial has arranged a meeting with the sole member of the clergy who witnessed the Blasphemy's birth, but did not return. Oh, but did not turn. Thus do you make your way to St. Rimnod's Cathedral of a man. A deacon named Clem awaits. The Ishgardian delegate informs you that a dread blasphemy resembling a dragon has appeared in Ishgard, spreading panic throughout the nation. Seeking to vanquish the threat without delay, the authorities have begun assembling a hunting party. Though they have no shortage of valorous knights, the Ishgardens believe that the mission benefit for the presence of a battle mage who can stand unflinching in the face of a fell quarry. And who should fit that description better than you? Having agreed to lend your strength, you promptly depart for the Holy See. Alright, so this one is the Magic DPS role quest. Now, I remember one thing that extremely annoyed me regarding the role quests between Shadowbringers and Endwalker is that in Shadowbringers, the ranged DPS class was, or rather, the ranged DPS role quest was inclusive of both physical and magic, so I could skirt by using just a written mage only. However, in Endwalker, role quest requires, well, both physical range DPS and magic range DPS as separate roles. So guess what I had to do? That's right, I had to level Machinist from 30 all the way to 90. On the bright side is, I think I am fairly decent at Machinist now. Yeah, a slightly amusing story at my expense is that I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV since 3.0. So that was when Heavensward was released. I've only found out today that I can scale the UI. Yep. It's only today I realized that this was a possibility. For the past few years, I've just been like pressing my face up against the screen to look at like the preview screen whenever I try on like items to see the glams. Yeah, it's been a really long time. Just been playing on and off mostly. If I am not mistaken, I think on my login screen I'm like subbed for like a total of what 1.2 thousand days or something like that. Been learning new tricks even if we've been playing for a couple of years also. Yeah, that's kind of wish that they explained this, or rather make it a little bit more intuitive, but then again I suppose it's probably common sense to just like try to right click the UI border, you know? Always you in the patch notes and stuff. Oh, I guess I've just exposed myself as someone who doesn't read the patch notes. Haha. Oh, that's not ominous at all. It's me and the boys. Here he is, Deacon Clem. Let us see what he can tell us. Not so very long ago, few would have imagined Ishgardian knights marching beyond the bounds of their own dominion. But we have ventured to the heart of Garlemald and fought for no less than the fate of the world itself. Our nation has changed, and continues to do so. Lord Emmerich, Lord Toril, and the savior of Ishgard besides, you do me great honor. I'm Clem, and I serve as a deacon here at St. Remnaud's Cathedral. I understand you were among those at the Hoplon when the incident occurred. We give thanks to the Fury for your merciful preservation. We now seek to prevent the blasphemy from wreaking further havoc, and we appreciate any details you can provide. But although we are to make you recall unpleasant memories, will you not recount to us what you witnessed that day? Very well. We're presently relocating the vault's libraries to the cathedral, in case you are unaware. We have finished delivering a batch of tomes, and we're on our way to bring over another. As we approach the Hoplon, we notice a young man walking unsteadily. No sooner had he come to an abrupt halt than he transformed into a draconic beast. The fiend fixed us with a menacing glare, and it was all we could do to find our wits and flee. But to my compounding horror, my brethren who were with me began turning to monstrosities as well, one after another. Praise the Fury that you, at least, were spared, Deacon Clem. I cannot imagine how frightening the experience must have been. Bishop Vartano. Forgive me if I interrupt. I was informed that our stalwart protectors were present, and wish to express my gratitude. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your service. I pray that we shall soon be free of this scourge. Indeed, if there is aught we might do to aid your efforts, you need but say it. You are most kind, Your Grace. That was Bishop Vartanoir, the head of St. Remnaud's and a member of the Synod. With the seat of the Archbishop vacant, he is, in effect, the highest authority in Ishgardian Orthodox Church. This is so. Yet, in spite of his elevated station, he remains as kind and humble a man as any I have ever known. Like His Grace, I will do all that I can to help shepherd our people through this uncertain time. To that end, there is a request I would make of you, if you can spare a moment to consider it. Of course, if it is within our power, we should be glad to offer you aid. Thank you. What manner of request could this be? His tone speaks in urgency. The deacon was no less terrified by the blasphemy than his peers, Yet he alone did not turn. By what grace was he spared? In the wake of the transformations, a group of clergymen fled the city in fear. Yet though they sought refuge in the wilderness, they put themselves at the mercy of the elements and fell fiends both. Given that the cause of the transformation is not clear, I think theirs was a decidedly unwise decision. I wish to set out and find them, but I am not trained in the ways of war. As such, I require those who are to accompany me in the search. So that is the way of it. Suffice it to say, we will help. Do you know whither your fellows may have headed? The Western Highlands, I believe. Between Gorgain Mills and Hemlock, there is no shortage of abandoned dwellings in the area. Very well. Time being of the essence, I propose we split up and scour the separate areas. Sylvain, if you could escort the good deacon to Gorgain Mills, Lord Torrell and I will tend to Hemlock. Alright. That's Falcon's Nest. Yep, I suppose that would be the fastest way to travel. Right, time to search for the clergymen in this region. Was there an interaction spot that I missed? Okay, perhaps inside. Oh no, there it is right there. But you should choose to abide in such harsh conditions. You? Ah, I see you found them. Yes, and none the worse for wear, thank the Fury. My friends, forgive us if we have given cause for alarm. We come out of concern for your well-being. Though we understand why you quit the city, we fear you may have placed yourself at greater risk by coming here. His Grace Bishop of Artenois, too, worries for your health and prays for your swift return. So please, will you not allow us to escort you to the Holy See? I assure you, you'll be much safer there than in this wretched place. Servants of the Fury will never be safe in the city, don't you see? This is your fault. You and your accursed revolution. The people disdain us, mock us behind our back, and spit in our faces. And now someone is conspiring to transform us into monstrosities, enemies of the church, I'll wager, emboldened by your deeds. So no, I will not go back to Ishgard. I'd sooner freeze to death and suffer your pity. What? All I have ever done was in service to her. I am a good man. I do not. She cannot forsake me. I'll only preserve. Look at him go. Sylvain, we cannot allow him to harm any others. Give chase and do what you must. We'll remain here and keep the others calm. Very well. Do not worry about us. See to the beast, it cannot have gone far. Deacon Clem, please do what you can to reassure them. Yes, of course. All shall be well, my friends. Come, join me in prayer. Hey Renryu, how's it going? Doing just do some of the Final Fantasy XIV role quests. I think I'm forgetting how to play Red Mage again. Oh wait, no, I remember now. Yep, Jolt is the opener, then followed by either Arrow 3 or Thunder 3. Yeah, okay. Yep, it's been a very long time since I played Red Mage. Haha. Run everything. Yeah, I hope you have a good day at work, Renryu. Start of the new year, I think things are starting to pick up again. Let's see, a new dialogue. What of the beast? Is it done, Sylvain? My thanks. What happened is most regrettable, but we must be grateful that no one else came to harm. While you were gone, the deacon was able to convince the others to return to the city. Let us escort them back at once, and then reconvene at the congregation to consider our next course of action. For our purposes, we have The use of the strategy room. Announce yourself to the guard without, and he will show you in. Lord Emmerich and Torel await you within the strategy room. Will you be joining them now? Indeed. Oh, fancy. Here we shall discuss our plans to deal with blasphemy. Whensoever you wish to enter, you need but say so to the guard. Lest you wonder, we have taken the clergyman to St. Reminaud's to rest and recover. If truth be told, the thought that they may still succumb to despair and turn remains at the forefront of my mind. Yet the risk would be greater still were we to keep them at arm's length and deny them the comfort of the church. Indeed, from the words he spoke, that Inquisitor yearned for the days of old. He and others like him can scarcely be blamed. Since the truth of the nation's founding and the Archbishop's machinations were made public knowledge, the Church has been in turmoil. For we have made great strides in separating religion and state, there has been far less progress in the reformation of the Church. For our faith has been everything to us, our purpose and our comfort. 'Tis not an easy thing to reconcile one's belief with the betrayal of our spiritual leaders. Thus torn between their hearts and minds, many Ishgardens feel lost, and none more so than the members of the clergy, whose faith was once unshakable. Little wonder, then, that the most dedicated and devout are like to turn. So it seems, but further investigation is needed ere we draw a definite conclusion. With the war's end, Ishgard has set out on a new path. The choices we make now shall determine our course for the future. Come what may, we dare not squander the chance we have fought so hard to attain. Once the returned clergymen have sufficiently calmed down, I shall have the deacon speak with them, that we might gain insight into their individual plights. Good. Meanwhile, I shall take the opportunity to brief my men on recent developments. Pray take a moment's rest, my friend. You have earned it. When you're ready to continue our work, you may seek us out here. Forgiveness, not deliverance. Torel is eagerly awaiting Deacon Clem's report. Ah, Sylvain. Your timing could not be better. Deacon Clem has finished speaking with the rescued clergyman, and will be here shortly to share his findings. Lord Emmerich, too, is on his way. Let us wait for them. Deacon Clem, we thank you for making the inquiries on our behalf. 'Twas no imposition in the least. As I said, I'm glad to do all I can. So, 'tis our understanding that those we escorted back were all close acquaintances of the Inquisitor who returned. Like him, they too had been the subject of harassment by certain quarters of the populace. Is this correct? It is, I am afraid, and they are far from alone. Men of the cloth were once afforded respect and deference as servants of Halone, but now they are openly reviled by many. We are complicit in perpetuating terrible lies, this is true, but we too were misled. We too are victims, yet we are regarded by some as criminals. Well do I understand the people's anger, but it saddens me to think that they would thus lash out at their fellow man, especially when we need solidarity most of all. Though I can imagine your plight, I would not presume to fully grasp your pain. Will you tell us of the challenges you and yours have had to face since the war's end? Like all sons and daughters of Ishgard, we dreamed of peace in our lifetime. But now that it has come, we find we have little cause to rejoice. Our faith has long been the foundation of our lives, and overnight that foundation has been crippled by fractures beyond repair for some. To learn that we had been deceived, and that we had unwittingly deceived others in turn, was devastating. We who had once been shepherds to men found ourselves lost lambs, bereft of surety and wanting for guidance. We have languished in darkness, all of us. Yet I have faith that the Church will redeem itself, that it will find a new path, and again become a beacon for hope for the people. I see. Thank you for sharing this with us. Your testimony has confirmed our suspicions. According to our allies, that which causes people to turn is none other than the despair and anguish. If it wasn't before, it is now abundantly clear why members of the clergy are among the transformed. That you did not, I believe, is due to your unwavering faith in the Church. In light of this, we will ask for your continued cooperation. Of course, anything to help my brethren. Now that we have established the cause, that leaves us with the mystery of profane Fafnir's identity. The progenitor of these troubles, could he too have been a man of the cloth? What I recall of his garb, I adopted. He was dressed in the common fashion, and inadequately against the cold besides. To say that something of the individual may remain in the blasphemy, influencing his behavior. If we can determine what instincts drive profane Fafnir, we may learn who it once was. And this knowledge, I believe, will prove vital in our efforts to stop it. Deacon Clem, We ask that you reach out to your fellow clergymen. Please, do what you can to ease their anxieties. Understood. As I have ever done, I shall provide what comfort I can to those in need. Meanwhile, we must make it a priority to identify the blasphemy. To that end, we'll seek out more eyewitnesses. The Hopland is a busy place at any given time. Some ordinary citizens are bound to have been present as the tragic event unfolded. I propose that we make inquiries in the pillars. If you could attend to the Hopland, Laura Torrell and I will look to the surrounding areas. Alright, it's not too big of a region to search. Oh, wow. Ease off on charm, my man. Alright, let's see what this sociable citizen has to say. No, I did not see the dragon, nor would I have wished to, frightful as it sounds. They say it wasn't a Dravanian attack, but if not, then what was it? Spirited citizen. The dragon that appeared at the Hopland, I saw it with my own eyes. One moment an Ellison, the next a terrible beast. He was a heretic, I take it. How incredibly nonchalant. Spade citizen. I wasn't present for the incident at the Hopland. The young man poorly dressed for the cold, that I did see. I recall him well because an aide from St. Evandros was searching for him. He was a patient at the infirmary, and by coincidence had the same name. Were you able to learn anything? Very well, Sylvain. Did your search yield any fruit? A patient of the firmament infirmary, you see. Oh, now that is a mouthful. The firmament infirmary. Among those with whom I spoke, one claims to have witnessed an individual fitting that description. A man walking in a stupor who did not seem to feel the cold. If he had wandered straight out of the infirmary, it will explain his state of attire. Yes, I dare say we have found our Blossomy. To think that his name should be Vaindro. 'Tis the same name as that former Heaven's Ward Commander, Oh, 'tis the same name as that of former Heaven's Ward Commander Sir Vaindro de Rochemont, for whom the infirmary is named. Sir Vaindro, however, retired from his station at a ripe old age some years ago. 'Tis not like to have been him. In any case, we have a lead. I shall head to the infirmary at once. Pray wait for me in the broom. The infirmary's all the way down there. Good evening, Master Dwarf. How fare you of late? Lord Horrell should not be long. Let us wait here. I have been alright. Things could certainly be better, but of course, things could always be worse. In that, I'm thankful that I can manage with the hand I'm given. And what of you? How have you been? Doing fine. That is great to hear as well. Let's see. This is Loveric. Loveric? Probably Loveric. Viade was in charge of Vaindro. Unlocked every penance for Ogren. Well, almost. Ah, that's quite an achievement. I'm aware that some of the Ogren penances are one of the more difficult ones to do. Especially the one where you have to, like, charge into 6 other Ogrens. And you play 200 more games? I see, well, those are quite a lot of games. But still, Tertium needs you. And certainly the heretics will not purge themselves. Have you found him? Oh, please say you have. We have not, I'm afraid. But we seek to, and hope that you could tell us more about him. May we ask how he came to be at the infirmary? I assume built like a tank is the name of a pennant. can't quite remember what that was because I don't play Ogren. Had a pretty decent time playing as a Psyker, as difficult as it may be. Her class certainly needs quite a bit of a rework, but I can manage thus far. It can be better, that's for sure. Let's see. He was found by a patrol in the Central Highlands after being treated for his hurts. He was brought to us for convalescence. Being the prime of his years, he had been doing well, but then... Prime of his years. By all accounts, he is no old man. It seems safe to assume that it isn't Sir Vaindro. Oh no, he's definitely a different person, as I told Lord Torrell. And though he gave his name as Vaindro, he seemed rather confused, and we had no means to confirm his identity. In his state, he shouldn't be wandering about on his own. Please, you must find him. The sun rises on Ishgard. The man who recently turned into a beast at the Hopland. We regret to say that it may have been Vaindro. What? No. How can this be? Is there aught you can tell us? Things he may have said or done while in your care? While he was still unconscious, he would often ramble, though most of it was incoherent. He mentioned the Archbishop many times. Oh, and he spoke of a bishop too, Bishop Vartanoa. I assumed he was a pious man, given this. I see. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll continue our investigation, and should we confirm what became of Vaindro, inform you forthwith. Let us return to the congregation for now. And truthfully, clear skies and sunrise in Ishgard is a beautiful sight. Like, I know that his name is most likely pronounced as Firmalbert. I can't help but read it as Firm Albert. Who could this Vaindro be? The mystery remains, but we are one step closer to identifying the man who became Profane Fafnir. Indeed, though he did not at first appear to be a member of the clergy, his words betray a fervent faith. And how curious that he should speak not only of the Archbishop, but Bishop Vartano. Vartano specifically. Perhaps he was personally acquainted with His Grace. In light of the possibility, I believe we should speak with him directly. Agreed. I will request an audience, but His Grace has many demands upon his time. It may be a while before we are seen. Should you have other business, pray feel free to attend to them in the meantime. Justice, only vengeance. They're reciting the lyrics to Heaven's Word. The look of relief upon Autoral's face bespeaks your timely arrival. Sylvain, excellent timing as ever. Deacon Clem has sent word that Bishop Vartanoa will see us now, by which I mean right this instant. It is extremely short notice, I know, but it will not do to miss the opportunity to learn how he and Vaindro may be connected. Not wishing to keep His Grace waiting, Lord Amric is already on his way to St. Rimnaud's Cathedral. Come, let us hurry there ourselves. That's a cool sword. I have an urge to sneeze, but I cannot. You have taken interest in the scholasticate robes. I remember how I longed for the privilege to wear them. But now that they make me a clear target for people's anger, I feel more guilt than joy. Ah, Sylvain. Full glad am I that you could join us. It seems His Grace has yet to arrive. My lords, I am so sorry. I informed His Grace that you were making your way hither, but shortly before you arrived, he recalled that he had urgent business and had to leave the cathedral at once. He cannot have yet gone far, though, so if you wish to search for him in the hopes, you can still steal a moment of his time. To grant us an audience only to depart with such haste, what business could be so pressing? His Grace has yet to return, I'm afraid. I found His Grace, Sylvain. So you have? Well now, that even the savior of Ishgard should be here. Your Grace, Perhaps 'tis simply our misunderstanding, but we were under the impression that you had granted us an audience. Lord Speaker, rest assured I was just about to return to the cathedral. There is no need, Your Grace. This will not take long. As you may have heard, we are investigating a young man named Vaindro. Is he known to you? No, I cannot say he is. With the exception of his former Archimandrites, I am sure I know no one by that name. Mine and the Archbishop's are known to many, yes. Perhaps this youth took an inspiration from public services over which we presided. Goodly soul that he is. Full glad am I that his faith was of comfort to him in sickness, and I pray to alone that he will soon be found in good health. Now then, if there was nothing else, I shall return to my duties. Reveal to me your secrets. Fear not, Your Eminence. I shall carry on your legacy. Isn't he one of the Heaven's Ward Knights? Also, I'm still mad they didn't give us an Ascalon Glam or Greatsword. We have completed the preparations as per your instructions. But are you certain this will work? It will. It must. Lord Emmerich spoke the truth when he revealed the Archbishop's primal powers to strengthen the people's faith. I could not bring myself to believe it, and not at first, but in the course of cataloguing His Eminence's personal articles, I came upon his journals. Therein he had written that, through abundant ether and fervent prayer, it is possible to make gods of men. All the power we require lies in this place, as is law. By channeling the essential elements into the soulless flesh and sword we found. We shall summon forth King Thordan and his knights 12, and by his blessing, Ishgard shall be restored to its former glory. What is this? It's just an ordinary man, scarcely changed from before. His Eminence, I must protect. No, this isn't right. Confound it. Perhaps I overlooked something. I must return to the Holy See and review the journal. Your Grace, what shall we do with this thing? Leave it. 'Tis a failure without use of or value. The denizens of this place will deal with it soon enough. Well, the mystery deepens. Sylvain, are you well? Were you perchance granted a vision of the past? That I have. An attempted summoning of King Thordan and his Knights 12. Your Grace, you should know full well that summoning is strictly forbidden. Will you accompany us to the congregation? You will accompany us to the congregation and explain yourself. I have dedicated my life to the church, conducted my affairs in accordance with the scriptures. Oh, something, but you took it all from us, tore down everything that defined us. You cannot know how it feels to have your very existence rejected, to be forsaken by a community, to be denied by your society. Well, I deny you and this justice. I deny an Ishgar where the church has no place. I refuse to accept it, do you hear me? I refuse to accept it. Oh. One shot. Your Grace, no. Zero hesitation by Emmerich. And that's why he's the best. That it should come to violence yet again. Would that your hand had not been forced, my lord. Deacon Clem should not be alone at this time. I shall remain with him while tending to the aftermath. When things have settled, I will return to the congregation. Pray, go on ahead and get some rest. Oh, wouldn't be the first time we splattered an Archbishop. Nope, I cannot. Get a water break after this. How fares the deacon? Well enough, given the circumstances. Though understandably shaken, he is more determined than ever to help his fellows. Truly, he is possessed of a stout heart. But to think that even a member of the synod could succumb to despair and to turn. The crisis gripping the church is far graver than I had imagined. In pushing for such an abrupt separation of religion and state, we may have exacerbated growing divide between the clergy and the general populace. Sylvain, will you recount in full that which you witnessed in your vision? That he should seek to use one of Alex's unholy abominations to create a primal. Yet that which manifested was not like the being you fought, but rather retained the form of a man, one driven by a desire to protect the Archbishop. We may safely assume that the bishop did not have sufficient either. Bereft of the Nidhogg's eye, the sword of Ascalon no longer has such power. But if the summoning failed, how did the clone come to possess life? And what purpose drives it? A lack of ether notwithstanding, the necessary components were present for summoning. Perhaps the ritual itself was a success, and the vessel, though imperfect, arose as a champion of the Archbishop. Yet how did he come to be in the Central Highlands? I believe that this clone and the man who became the blasphemy are one and the same. Nay, I merely speculate. Yet, considering what we know of the clone and Vaindro, it would seem a likely possibility. Whatever the truth may be, it will not elude us forever. But first, I must lay some groundwork for the next phase of our investigation. God's permitting, I will have news to share ere long, so pray, look in on us when you can. Alright, time for me to refill my cup. I'll be right back. Right, I have returned. Wills unending, faith unbending. Arturo has the identity of a blasphemy on his mind. Sylvain, you are ever a sight for sore eyes. Ill tidings, my friends. I dispatched the Temple Knights to find the clergymen who aided them in Bishop Vartano's summoning attempt. Regrettably, when confronted, all turned and had to be put down. Without their accounts, how then to ascertain that the clone and Vaindro are the same individual? Maintaining the assumption that they are, perhaps we should instead consider how Vaindro may have found his way to Corvus. According to Sylvain's vision, he was abandoned as his law. But what did he do afterwards? Then there is but one way to ascertain the truth. We follow his trail. I shall go and search for the clone as his law. If he is still there, then we are dealing with a different individual. A splendid idea. We'll leave the floating continent in your capable hands. Meanwhile, Sylvain and I shall retrace Vaindro's steps whence he first appeared. Upon being found in the Central Highlands, he was taken to Camp Dragonhead. Let us begin by making inquiries there. Second. Okie dokie. Again. Investigating the stranger we found, are you? I wasn't involved myself, so I can't tell you much about the fellow. But in case it is of interest, earlier the same day I caught sight of an airship flying dangerously low. It soon disappeared into the brewing snowstorm, looking none too steady. Exchange with Philbin has taught you about an airship flying low. Hmm. Oh. Right. Okay, she stopped staring. Well now, if it isn't the late Lord Horshavan's dear friend, is there something you require? Ah yes, the mystery man. I was among those who tended him. He was not attired for the snow, much less the snowstorm in which he had been caught, and was suffering from frostbite. When people are extremely cold, they may mistakenly feel that they are warm in this robe. That might explain his state of undress. Your exchange with Neen has taught you about Vaindrov's state when he was found. We took care of the man as best we could, but given his state, I expect he will need a long convalescence before he's back on his feet. Yours is ever a welcome face, friend. If you're weary from your journey, pray rest a while by the warmth of our hearth. I should think you know full well. But Camp Dragonhead is an Ishgardian fortress held by Halls Four Toms, in honor of our fallen commander, Lord Francel, and some others commissioned the memorial on the cliffs overlooking the city to the north. Though it may not be where Lord Horshavan was laid to rest, we like to think it offers him a vantage point from which he can watch over the city he so dearly loved. Lord Manelane's spell of absence afforded me time to return to my writing. I must admit that life was rather dull without him, though not necessarily for the worse. Sylvain, old boy, when I saw you off in the Ragnarok, I had every faith that you would return. And here you are, a more dependable comrade a man could not hope for. Ah, tis ever an honor to receive you. What brings you to our humble camp this morn? An injured man who was found out in the wilds. Yes, I know the one. I was with a patrol that chanced into him north of here, at Providence Point. He was unconscious in a bad way, and in a bad way. We hurriedly bore him back to camp. After doing what we could for him, we sent him on to the city. Your exchange with Yale has taught you about where Vaindro was found. Alright, so an airship flying low crashed in somewhere near Providence Point. There you are. We were able to learn all of interest. A mysterious man found collapsed after an airship was seen flying low. Yes, the accounts I heard are consistent with yours. I, for one, am curious about the fate of this unknown airship. To that end, I've arranged a pair of black chocobos for us, more efficiently to scour the area. It should contain our search to Providence Point, where Vaindro is said to have been found. If you are ready, let us be off. Nothing so far. Let's continue northeast. Oh, cutscene. That is certainly an airship. It's at the Enterprise. By the Fury, it's a blasphemy. Let's look into its past. Oh no, that's an Ishgardian Holy Sea airship, I believe. His Eminence must protect His Eminence. Ah, you're finally awake. Oh my god. Hey, you're finally awake. Oh my god. He'll only be praised. How are you feeling? Strong enough to speak? Can you tell me your name? My name. My name is. Zephyr. No. Charbird. Oh, was it Valguin? Paul Crane? So many names, swirling in my head, and voices that reject them. Is there none they will accept? Are you alright? Vaindro. My name is Vaindro. Well now, that's the same name as our infirmary. I dare say fate has guided you to us. So, Vaindro, if you are feeling up to a little conversation, can you tell me about yourself? Anything else you remember? Anything at all? A proud son of House Samael. Nay, a devout servant of Halone, who lives for the rush of battle. A pleasure in inflicting pain, the tensions of maidens, to fight beside my brothers in arms. A low-born runt, whose every effort went unrewarded. whose very name disqualified him from ever leading the Temple Knights. But his eminence raised me up, granted me a place at his side. From that day forth, I pledged my sword to his service, pledged my very being, my life to be offered up in defense of his. I am a knight of Heaven's Ward, sworn to protect and serve the Archbishop. Oh, you're a knight? Forgive me if that sounded rude, but I had no idea, and while I realize your memories may be a bit muddled, I'm afraid I must inform you that the Heaven's Ward have not been seen in quite some time, and are presumed dead. And the Archbishop, well, he is most certainly no longer of this world. But the important thing is you are safe now, and we'll help you get back on your feet. Speaking of which, let me bring some food and water. You must be absolutely famished. The Archbishop dead? No. No, this cannot be. How can I still be alive when he is not? I must find him. Sylvain. For the glory of King Thordan. Another vision, I take it. Quite so. Let us make for Ishgard. I expect that Lord Artorel will return soon, if he has not already, and we should both be glad to hear your tale. Sylvain, the previous search was more productive than mine own. Everyone is here. Excellent. So, were you able to find our clone in Az's Law? Nay, not but the discarded Ascalon remained. How fared you with your own efforts in the Central Highlands? In the course of retracing Vaindros' steps, we came upon the wreck of the Soleil. I suspect he found a vessel abandoned in Az's Law and tried to use it to return to Ishgard. They crashed en route, and was subsequently rescued by a patrol from Camp Dragonhead. So it would seem, and the Archbishop's airship was not the only thing we found. Vane Fafnir was there too. The creature chose to flee, but not before Sylvain had a vision of Vaindro's past. Go on, my friend. Share with us what you witnessed. All the pieces fit, and it is as you surmised, my lord. Vaindro and the clone are one and the same, and in his despair, he turned into a blasphemy. Yet the confusion he exhibited when he asked his name, 'tis as if he wasn't sure of his own identity. According to the science, primals retain the memories of their previous incarnations. From this, it may be assumed that the clone harbors the memories of all those who became King Thoradin and his Knights 12. Though he struggled to reconcile these conflicting memories, he managed to settle on the name Vaindro. Voices within were clearly in agreement when facing Sylvain, the mere sight of whom drove the blasphemy to flee. Above all, however, they share in the desire to protect their Archbishop. This desire was seared into Vaindro's very being, and when he learned that he no longer had a purpose, the Heaven's Ward took up arms against us and Ishgard. By their hand were we robbed of one of our finest knights and a dear friend. Even so, I would not wish such a terrible fate upon them. The selfsame fate inflicted upon full many clergymen, and the fate I fear ordinary citizens will succumb to if we fail to act. The people will not soon forget the betrayal of our church's leadership, nor should they. But absent the comfort and stability once afforded to them by the institution, many have become lost and are all too vulnerable to despair. Let's see. The people don't have to forget, but they need to move forward. The church can still be a source of comfort, but things need to change. I'll go with it first. I thought as much myself, my friend, but to hear you say it as well. Indeed, when the ground upon which we stand crumbles, we must find the strength to move forward, even should it cause us pain to do so. Lord Torel, at the next house session, I shall call for an ecumenical council to be held. My lord, such a gathering is reserved for... Oh, you intend for the church to codify a new doctrine. Since the separation of religion and state, we have refrained from interfering in church affairs. But if the church is to remain a part of Ishgardian society and continue serving the people, it must reconsider its role and formally address such recent revelations. I will call for this council not as the Lord Speaker, but as a humble adherent of the faith. Long had I considered whether such measures were necessary, but lacked the courage to set them in motion. I now have it, thanks to you. I shall tend to the necessary preparations at once. Among other things, we must reach out to those of the clergy who are amenable to reform. I must ask for your patience in the meantime. Almighty Fury, guide us to victory. The set of Artoriel's jaw betrays a hint of anxiety. Coconut cod chowder, a Near Eastern soup brimming with shallows cod simmered in silky coconut milk. I can't say that that sounds particularly delicious. Cod and coconut milk. Ah, Sylvain. Owing to Lord Emmeric's swift action, I am pleased to say that the Ecumenical Council will soon be held. In case you are unaware, the Council is the highest assembly in Ishgardian Orthodox Church. Its purpose to deliberate and decide upon doctrine. The previous one was held no less than 80 years ago, and 4 archbishops have since come and gone. As such, most Ishgardens know little of it, save that which they have read in the historical records. Traditionally, the Archbishop and members of the Synod would meet behind closed doors. In light of Bishop Rottenor's fate, however, this time the doors shall be thrown open to the public. Indeed, for the first time in history, all men and women of the faith may have a hand in shaping the mission and the teachings of the Church. 'Tis my hope that you will also join us in this endeavor. Deacon Clem, allow me to express our gratitude for your efforts in facilitating the Council. We appreciate the difficulty of your position. I merely heed my conscience and my faith, my lord. Acting in Bishop Rottenor's stead, I shall do all within my power to see that the Church may serve the people once more. Where is the Lord Speaker, if I may ask? He stepped outside for a moment, saying that he wished to gather his thoughts ahead of the Council. The hour draws nigh, however. Sylvain, I shall proceed to the vault with the good deacon. In the meantime, may I ask you find Lord Emmerich? He should be at the last vigil, I believe. Honestly, that's pretty cool that they use the theme song for Heaven's Ward as the quest names. Oh, 'tis you, my friend. Is it time already? I see. My apologies for making you come fetch me. I have been thinking, Sylvain, on the path I've chosen to walk, and on those who have left behind as a consequence of my actions. Those who died fighting, those burdened with boundless grief, those deprived of position and purpose. Like any nation, Ishgard is made up of disparate souls with the disparate beliefs. Without an enemy to unite us, we recall the differences we once cast aside out of necessity and find amongst our old friends new ideological foes. The future I had envisioned. 'Tis far more difficult to secure than I ever imagined. What must I do for our people to live in harmony, for our nation to move forward as one? Such questions I have been pondering. We should begin making our way to the council. Shall we continue our conversation while we walk? Ready? Then let us be off. If it is agreeable, I would like to look on Ortom's manor. Though we haven't much time, I'm glad for the opportunity to stroll about the city with you. It feels like in another age that you and yours were no more than foreign wards of House Fortons. And in actual fact, it may be considered so. For your coming set in motion a chain of events that brought an end to the Dragonsong War, ushering in a new age of harmony. You paved the way for a meaningful change in our nation, and for that you shall ever have my gratitude. Now then, shall we continue on to the architects? Borden and his Knights 12, the murderers of Ratatoskr. Since the truth of their ancient crime came to light, many have demanded that these images be torn down. Yet, though what our founding fathers did was wrong, neither is it right to simply expunge them and their deeds from history. To do so would be to deny our people's part in what followed for 1,000 years. We have the chance to forge a new future, but we, as a nation, must decide how we confront our past. Forgive me, I was lost in thought yet again. Let us join Deacon Clem at the vault. Oh, oh wow. Thank you for the raid, Rio. Raid from the Scholar Library. Ah, welcome, welcome one and all. Please, make yourself comfortable. Find a seat and join me. Here I am, Nishgard, doing the role quest for the ranged magic DPS. It's quite an introspective one, reflecting on what our role in the Dragonsong War and the peace that it ushered, and the consequences therein. I most certainly am. Well, there's not much in terms of button mashing. I do quite enjoy the narrative that they brought us. A little bit melancholic, a little bit bittersweet, but all the same full of determination. And that is pretty much the theme of Endwalker, is it not? There you are, my friends. Council is about to convene. Let us take our place in the audience hall. Fortunately, I do not stick like a sore thumb in this cutscene. Esteemed members of the clergy and honored adherents of the faith, I thank you all for your attendance. In recent days, our nation has been racked by a series of tragedies. Those among us who do Alone's work have been transformed into abominations. This dreadful phenomenon has been brought about by the final days, and is upon our despair and anguish that it feeds. Thus, if we are to prevent further tragedy, we must strive to ensure that all Ishgardians, clergymen and citizens alike, abide with peace and love for one another in their hearts. To that end, have I called this ecumenical council, the first in generations, that we might together determine a path forward for the Church and our society as a whole. I have not done any Endwalker role quests yet, so I have no idea what's going on. Well, the long story short is that representatives from each of the allied nations that form the and I suppose the allied companies of heroes. Yeah, I completely forgot what the name was. The Alliance, perhaps? They request your help in dealing with blasphemies that have arisen in their home cities. I've completed the tank role quest, the one that occurs in Gridania. The magic ranged DPS occurs here in Ishgard. There are, I believe, 3 more. One for physical range DPS, one for healers, and one for physical DPS. So that's a total of 5. And yes, that is a separation between magic and physical range DPS. So if you have any casters, I certainly hope you have at least a bard, machinist, or dancer leveled as well. I did not, and I had to level a machinist from scratch. Since antiquity, the Ashgardian Orthodox Church served the people in two respects: as the Fury's spear to strike at the heart of dragonkind, and as the Fury's shield to safeguard the souls of men. But now that we are at peace with the Dravanians, the Church need no longer serve as the spear, and so we must now reconsider how we might better serve as a shield for our brethren. The hierarchy must be reformed, and for that we need accountability. The upper echelons must be stripped of rank at a minimum, and investigations conducted, trials held, if the evidence is sufficiently damning. And then we may turn our attention to the doctrine of lies. Oh, the proletarian clergyman certainly is spitting fire and brimstone. Tribunal Superior. As our predecessors did before us, we of the Synod have ever sought to interpret the scriptures to the best of our ability, and thence conveyed Halone's will to the people. Such fervent pursuit of retribution at the expense of doctrine would come also at the expense of our faith. Have we won the war to lose our souls? O Halone, are we outside your grace? This bodes ill. At this rate, someone might turn. Since the war's end, the Church and the faithful have stood at the crossroads, unable to take the next step forward. His Grace Bishop Vartanoir, may he walk in Halone's halls, was one such soul, and in his longing for simpler times, he resorted to using forbidden magics. He succumbed to despair. In our minds we renounce the lies upon which our nation was built, but in our hearts we yearn for the righteousness, misguided though it was, that gave us comfort and purpose for so long. So let us not forget who we were. Let us confront the mistakes of the past and learn from them, that we do not repeat the mistakes of our forefathers. As fervently as we believed in our sacred duty, we struggle to accept the Church's deception and embrace change. The legacy of Thordan weighs heavy, and there is the temptation to simply cast it aside, like a mantle that suits us no longer. Yet that would dishonor the sacrifice of those who went before, countless souls who served the people with purest intent. And so, heavy though it may be, let us together bear this burden as we set forth anew. Our friend Sylvain risked his life and limb to reveal the truth to us, the truth that our legends and our scriptures were tainted by betrayal, but not wholly corrupted. For the great walls and towering spires of our city may have been built with murder and deception, but rest upon a foundation immutable and true, our devotion to Helone, whom we have worshipped since before our forefathers settled in these lands. The church is a font of practical wisdom, and its teaching guides us in our daily lives. Such things define our faith no less than the lies. We can acknowledge our sins without renouncing our religion. Aye, and without rejecting who we are. A comprehensive view of scripture, as well as historic literature, will be necessary. Revisions, as appropriate, must be made to ensure that the truth of our past is preserved for future generations. With a peerless knowledge of church doctrine, I dare say none is better suited to leading that effort than you. I also expect that many eyes will be required to pore over all the tomes, and I know many idle men and women of faith who would jump at the chance to do Helone's work once more. That day, so very long ago, I had no answer to my father's words. It seems the people had it within them all along. With this, the church and the people have taken their first step towards a brighter future. 'Tis well Lord Emmerich had interjected when he did. The council went better than I dared hope. Truly, while the details remain to be decided, 'twas a resounding success. Your words helped everyone to find common ground. I know not how to thank you. Much credit must go to Sylvain. In the face of great hardship, never did he hesitate to press on, and our people have not forgotten this. Indeed. Well do I remember the day you flew into Ishgard upon a dragon's back. In making possible the impossible, you inspired us all. In you we glimpsed the fury, a vision of courage in the face of uncertainty. Looking to your example, we shall endeavor to bring about change to the church, for the future of all Ishgardians. There will, of course, still be those souls who struggle to rise above the mire of despair. My fellows and I shall be there to take their hand in faith and love. For what is faith, if not salvation? Well, I had best return to the cathedral. We have much and more to do. Ah, but ere I forget, I have tracked down that which you requested. Some repairs will be necessary, but it will be seen to with all haste. I had tasked the deacon with finding a certain item, you see. A secret weapon, one might say. Given what we know of profane Fafnir, I suspect it will be of great use in our hunt. Once the repairs are complete, we shall be ready to strike. With the church having reached an accord with the people, the risk of more clergymen turning is greatly diminished. We may now focus entirely on the blasphemy. 'Tis time we freed Evandro from his torment. Rest while you can, Sylvain, for I dare say the coming battle will demand the best of us. Our Torel has his sights set on profane Fafnir. Glad tidings, Sylvain. Since the Ecumenical Council, not a single soul has turned. Safe in that knowledge, we need only think of how to hunt down the blasphemy. Ah, Sylvain. You are here too. Excellent. I am pleased to say that the secret weapon is ready. We may now look to dealing with profane Fafnir. As you will recall, when last we encountered it, it was lying in wait by the Soleil. An instinct driven by its inherited memories, I believe, seeks to protect that which it most strongly associates with the Archbishop. In all likelihood, 'twas this selfsame motive that compelled it to come to the Holy See. From the skies above, it keeps watch over the Holy Vault. When next it descends, we shall exploit this instinct by using the secret weapon to lure it to the chancel. What exactly is this secret weapon? 'Tis none other than the Fury's Grace, the holy crozier of the Archbishop. Suspecting that Bishop Rotenoir had retrieved it from Az's law, I had Deacon Clem research his private quarters. My suspicions proved correct. With the crozier in hand, I shall make an irresistible bait for profane Fafnir. My lord, that is an unconscionable risk. There is no telling how the blasphemer will react. Indeed, but we can be confident that I will command his undivided attention, thus ensuring that no more of our citizens are placed in harm's way. If the Heaven's Ward are the bishop's shields, then the Temple Knights are the people's. As leader of the order, risk is mine to bear. All the Knight of the Heaven's Ward fell in Az's law. As a vessel for their memories, Evandro may be considered the last of their number. Let us go then, to relieve him of his, nay, their duty. Let us see to our preparations and proceed to the vault. We finish this once and for all. All right. To the vault we go. When the battle begins, Lord Emmerich and I will draw off the blasphemy's attacks. Seize the opportunity to bring your magics to bear against it. Alright. If you are ready, then let us set forth. You need but say the word. Right, well, ready as I'll ever be, I suppose. Ever march heavensward. Beast is come. Now is our chance. Make ready. To me, my knights. For the glory of King Thordan. No, you are not he. A trick. It is a trick. Forgive me, Sir Vaindro, but for the sake of all Ishgardians, we must strike you down. Alright, let's see if I remember the Ring Mage.
It ends here! You underestimate me! There! Do not underestimate me! There! We must stand our ground! You underestimate me! I will not falter! This knight does not yield!
Right. Very nice. Fortunate both of them are paladins. Finally, it's over. Thus ends the tale of the Heaven's Sword. Let it not be forgotten. 'Twas wrong of them to conceal the truth of our nation's founding, to abet the Archbishop in his machinations. Yet in peering into their hearts, one thing became clear. They too had succumbed to primal manipulation. They too were victims. Flawed men, aye, and not without sin, but Ishgardians brave and true, as we all aspire to be. Having triumphed in the battles of ideas, I have a responsibility to all of our people. Their hopes and dreams, their sorrow and suffering, are mine to bear. And bear them I shall. For had you not vanquished King Thordan, or had I erred in but one of my choices, I may well have been the first to succumb to despair, to reborn a blasphemy. You wouldn't have turned, not you. A ridiculous notion. I'm more like to become a beast than you. Thank you, my friend, for having such confidence in me. My apologies. 'Twas not mine intent to wax sentimental. Our work here is done. Let us return to the congregation. Heading to the strategy room. I should be glad to show you in. Right, look, everyone's gathered. I hurried here as soon as I heard of your victory. There are some few words I would say, but it can wait until Lara Torel and Deacon Clem have spoken theirs. Sylvain, permit me to offer my gratitude for helping us to overcome not only the blasphemy, but the despair that spawned it. This is only the beginning. On the face of it, we may have made tremendous strides in breaking down ancient barriers within our society, but there yet remain great rifts to be bridged. 'Tis no easy thing to rise above a lifetime of preconceptions and prejudice. I myself have struggled to do so, as you must know. But I shan't give up. On the honor of my house, I will do everything in my power to build a new Ishgard. one in which all people can see eye to eye, regardless of birth and station. Now then, I believe the deacon has some words for you too. Pray lend him an ear. My Lord Sylvain, may I say how glad am I that you are safe and well. Just before you arrived, Lord Emmerich explained to me the true nature of the man who became the blasphemy. The poor, confused creature was born of the Church's mistake, and on behalf of the clergy, I give you my heartfelt thanks for laying it to rest. As we work to reform our institutions and rebuild our relationship with the people, we will remember and pray for all those who have fallen in service to the faith. And we shall pray for you as well. Wheresoever your path may lead, may the Fury ever watch over you and keep you. I shall leave it at that then. Lord Emmerich too wishes to speak, and 'twill not do to keep him waiting. Sylvain, Lord Artorial, I thank you for the vital roles you played in ridding us of profane Fafnir. As ever, the sight of you in combat was nothing short of inspiring. With no further reported instances of people turning, and the blasphemy itself no more, I should like to believe we are free of the scourge of despair. My brethren and I shall labor to see that it ever remains so, by fighting to dispel the darkness in men's hearts. And I shall fight with you, not only as a speaker of the House of Lords or the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, but as a man of faith in our God and in our people. Together, let us strive to fill our nation with hope. Sylvain, by now you'll be sick unto death of being thanked, but I must nonetheless express an additional word of gratitude. Full oft have you saved our nation, our people. I speak not only of our lives, but our hearts and minds as well. You have given us a great gift, that of opportunity and choice. And if we are to repay you for it, we as a nation must take full advantage of our freedom to dictate a new course forward into a brighter future. What forward means, we may not always agree upon, but as fellow Ashgardians, we shall find a way to rise above our differences and stand united. That is the nation that I will strive to build. This I swear to you. Sylvain, given all that you have done for us, I am loath to impose further, but may I trouble you to bear word of our success to our officer in Razathan? We will of course be sending a report, but there is no substitute for a first-hand account. Our allies would benefit from the additional details you can provide as well. Our thanks again, my friend, and may the Fury speed your way. Now to return to give word of our success. one drop is at Hall of the Radiant Host. Guardian Delegate. Ah, my Lord Sylvain. By your return, dare I hope that the hunt for the blasphemy was a success. That you would vanquish the beast comes as little surprise. That this occasion will serve as impetus for the Church to embark upon a path of reform is incredible. I will share these joyous tidings with our allies without delay. If I may speak candidly, I must confess that being a great admirer of yours. When you have a moment, I should like to hear about some of your adventures, if you would do me the honor. For the present, however, in my official capacity as the Guardian Delegate, I offer you my humblest thanks for your immeasurable service to our nation. Nice. Can now die job specific here for level 90 magical range DPS. Fantastic. More than fear. Alright, well, I think that makes a perfect opportunity for me to call it a night. It's quite amazing how the entire quest line for just one of the roles took me about 2.5 hours. But it's 2.5 hours I certainly do enjoy. Well, either way, I thank you all for dropping by. But before I call it a night, I shall set you forth to yet another person for you to witness in their journeys. Now let me see if they are still streaming at this hour. The answer is yes. Oh, and that's where I shall send you forth then. Until we next meet. But in the meantime, do say hi to Oleora and send her my best regards. Farewell.